Thank you very much. I would urge the members to vote in favor of joint liability reform. With all due respect, this is not a bill about the exceptions that are being alleged here. This is a bill that deals simply with the civil litigation system. It is a bill that provides balance between plaintiffs and defendants. Keep in mind that when individuals commit crimes, there's a criminal system that is designed under our court system to punish criminal wrongdoers. Individuals that commit murder, that commit rape, that commit sexual assault, individuals that commit those crimes are punished after a district attorney or after an attorney general brings a criminal case in front of a jury of their peers. And the penalties with respect to those crimes under the criminal system are significant, exceptionally significant. In fact, for many of those crimes, years and years and years from your life can be taken away as you are incarcerated, as it should be. That's in fact why we have a criminal legal system. The fact of the matter is, you can completely be against that crime, murder, sexual assault, rape, by wanting tough penalties under the criminal legal system where judges can in fact throw the book at those horrendous perpetrators. And that's true no matter what their position, no matter where they might work or what they might be as individuals. We are for a strong criminal defense and prosecution system whereby after you present your evidence and you convince a jury of the peers, that individual's liberty is taken away from them, that perpetrator, that defendant. This bill is about the civil system, where parties can get into court to sue each other for something based on negligent action or a tortious action. This is a civil litigation system. Keep in mind, we have a criminal court system designed to put people in jail for being wrongdoers. And when the opportunity comes, perhaps to increase penalties with respect to certain crimes, it will be interesting to see where people fall when dealing with the criminal court system. But this is a civil litigation system, and it's how you deal when somebody hires an attorney and decides to sue somebody in a court of law to recover monetary damages. The fact of the matter is this bill, joint liability reform, does nothing to prevent anybody from filing a civil lawsuit. Anybody can file a lawsuit under a meritorious claim in a court of law. This bill doesn't address whether or not you can file that lawsuit. You can file a lawsuit. That's what the civil system is about. All this bill does is it talks about the apportionment of damages after a civil jury decides what your measure of fault is. What your measure of fault is. And in 1978, this legislature, like most of the states in the United States, went to a comparative fault system. And what we do is we say, what jury is that defendant's percentage of fault? Now, I can bring that lawsuit as a plaintiff. I can allege whatever claim I want with respect to a particular defendant or defendants. And I've got to prove my case in front of a jury on the civil litigation side. and let's say I'm 40% at fault. Well, in terms of damages today, you can go after that person for a whole 100%. Under this reform, which deals only with how we collect damages, has nothing to do with the criminal legal system, has nothing to do with the civil litigation system's ability to file a lawsuit. It says if a jury finds you 40% at fault in a civil lawsuit, they can collect 40% of the damages awarded from you. Now here's the compromise. The compromise is, and it's based on states that already have joint liability reform. Over 40 states have joint liability reform. There are some states that say if there's a finding in a civil lawsuit of 10% against you, they can only get the 10% against you. There are some that say if there's 65% fault against you, they can only get 65% of the damages against you. Our compromise, based on other states, including New York and New Jersey, is that we have a 60% threshold. If in a civil lawsuit, the jury in a civil lawsuit, not a criminal suit, where your liberty can be taken from you, this is for monetary damages, if you are brought into a court of law up to 60%, say you're 50% at fault, they can collect 50% of whatever the damage that the jury found against you. If you are 60% or more at fault, they can still come after the whole 100% in terms of damages. Because remember, joint liability reform is about the collection of damages, not the apportionment of fault. In 1978, we went to a comparative negligence system like every state in the Union. Now 40-some states have already changed how we collect damages, and we're just getting in line with the rest of the states. If you can't argue on the merits, what you do is you create incendiary situations. And you try to act like somehow that you're not going to prosecute criminals. By goodness, I'm expecting the DAs and the Attorney Generals to prosecute every murderer and rapist and person who does sexual assault in this state. We've extended the statute of limitations with respect to those crimes because we know how important those prosecutions are. And I'm expecting that every plaintiff has the ability to get in court if they have a meritorious claim on the civil litigation side. All we're saying here, and let's not make it something it's not, let's not be phony, let's not be disingenuous. This is not about murder or sexual assault. This bill is about how you apportion damages in a civil lawsuit. And why do you want to pass this? I'll tell you why you want to pass it. Because your competing states recognize that you need a fairer legal system to create private sector jobs. Jobs, jobs, jobs. Employers do not locate here, nor do they stay here, nor do they expand here for a variety of reasons, but one of the most significant reasons is because Pennsylvania, unlike other states, has not undertaken a reform that is being put forth today. They tell us all the time, small businesses, larger businesses, who are all people, who are providing family-sustaining jobs, who are allowing people to be entrepreneurs and to actually be able to service customers and to hire employees and to take care of vendors and to contribute to the YMCA or to contribute to the local Little League. All these individuals are people who are taking risk and creating jobs. And you know what they've asked us to do? They've asked us to look at the damage perspective. They've asked us to look at the damage perspective and said, hey, can't you make it more fair like New York and New Jersey? Not a single one of those employers has asked us not to be tough on murderers and rapists, because that's not the issue. That's fake, it's phony, it's disingenuous. In addition, you know who else has asked us to pass this bill? The healthcare community, in droves, because they're tired of being second-guessed in a court of law. They're tired of being brought in because they're a deep pocket. A hospital, unlike a business, doesn't get to move. But do you know what they sometimes have to do? They sometimes have to shut down maternity wards. They sometimes don't have radiologists. They sometimes don't have neurosurgeons or people to deliver your babies. They sometimes like Tyrone Hospital, have to consider bankruptcy. And all they've asked is that we can be a little bit more like all the other states that have passed joint liability reform over the years and give them a fairer shake. Again, they're not opposed to people having their day in court and getting a suit filed in a civil litigation. They are certainly in favor of strong prosecution on the criminal side. But the reason employers and individuals and hospitals and healthcare providers are asking us to do a common sense reform that so many other states have is because they want to do their best, and they are tired of being second-guessed in a court of law, and they are tired of individuals coming after their deep pockets. Quit making this into an argument. It is not. It is disingenuous. This is about private sector jobs. This is about quality health care. And that's why there is a laundry list of employers all across the state and a laundry list of hospitals and healthcare providers who are asking for this reform. They are asking you to vote yes on joint liability reform so that they can serve the citizens of Pennsylvania better. And they're asking for an honest debate on the merits instead of a disingenuous debate about which it is not. Thank you very, very much. Please vote yes on joint liability reform.